With ALPS being essentially like a web-based application, as long as you're within the network, you're going to be able to access it.
How can someone make an informed decision if they don't have the data to back up what's happening on the floor?
We're able to provide you with the SOPs to give you guidance on how to run in your facility. We're able to provide you with the software to kind of give you that transparency and that picture on what's going on in your facility.
IGM, Industrial Greenhouse Management, which to use modern terminology is software as a service.
It encompasses 3 pillars, the OPE, KPI, and the climate monitoring data.
Because there is a mixture of humans, automated equipment, and semi-automated equipment, there has to be something that helps operators define success and failure and quality in all of these areas. At the end of the day, what OPE allows is for any process at a facility to be defined and parameterized.
The focus around it is to essentially be able to gather data in a manner that is very organized. And what we do is we gather data with the badge being the main character of the story. And the OPE module allows us to tell all the story points of what actually happened to that badge.
If we don't have a clear understanding of how a system is functioning, we don't know how to allocate our resources to make improvements. When we're able to see something converted into a bar graph or a pie chart, it's a lot easier for us to understand and see where this is happening. So OPE module does a really great job of monitoring those issues to make informed management decisions.
The climate module is a monitoring system. So essentially the way it works is we would bring in our sensors, we would set it all up within your facility, and at that point we would start collecting data. The amazing thing about the climate module is that it has a full-on audit trail. So we're able to track everything that happens from the moment you log in to the moment you log out. If you changed any settings, if any alarms happened, if anyone acknowledged any alarms, essentially anything that happens within the software, we're able to track. That's one of the key elements, essentially having a compliant software. The really nice thing about the climate module is that if you want to be able to access it from your home, from your phone, from a basic browser, you're able to have access to it. The other cool thing about the climate module is the fact that it requires very minimal training. And since it's not a controlled system, you don't really need to be scared that someone's going to go in there and do something wrong and then screw up the whole system. So if you wanted to have your operators access the climate module to see how a room is doing or if there's any alarms, you can give them access and be comfortable that they can go in, get the data they required, but not do any damage. The only thing they can really do is like change alarm set points. It's not a big deal. The alarm's going to get triggered, you turn it off, and then you can track who did that and kind of give them proper training from there on. It's super easy to use. It monitors everything you need to monitor. And if you follow the SOPs properly, you're going to be able to have a compliant software.
Our KPIs are broken down into production, environmental, financial, and energy. These are all kind of the 4 important pillars of the KPI side of things.
KPI reporting is going to be able to provide the client with a better view of what's actually going on in their facility. It's going to be able to draw a better picture on what risks are coming out of their facility and help them kind of make a better decision on how to mitigate those risks.
All the data can be captured in an extremely simple way. This is not a spreadsheet with 13 columns and 40 rows of data to account for and quickly put in as fast as you can. This is a box. You enter a figure, you hit enter. That is now recorded, and at the end of the day, whomever, you, the process owner, the manager of Harvest, the facility manager, or the CEO of the company can see a snapshot. We want people to be able to ask rational decisions about each step. Success should always be questioned. Why am I succeeding in this area? Well, here's the data. Here's where you've done very well. Here's how you've had challenges. And if it wasn't for this factor, you would have lost because of this factor here. And the software really allows not only the process itself to be looked at, but the facility and extending out all of your facilities. So that's the enterprise level function. And most importantly, record this information in a way the data can't be tampered Only the right people with the right authentication can enter that data, and only the right people can view that data and interpret that data. We think that this software allows for real people to understand real business problems, improve those areas, rationalize those problems, and take the spreadsheet, the accounting, and the 20 people looking at one situation out of it and give a simple single source of truth to you, the operator, to empower you to be better in what you do in your operations.